The story of Zulkarnain. As they ask you about Zulkarnain, you say, I will describe it to you. I gave him authority over the earth and directed the way and the way of every matter.
He took one route. On his way, when he reached the setting of the sun, he saw the sun setting in a muddy pool, and he saw a community there. I said, O Zulkarnain, you can punish them or accept them kindly. He said, I will punish whoever transgresses, then he will return to his Lord and he will punish him severely. But for him who believes and does good deeds, there is a reward of goodness, and they will speak mildly to him. Again he took a path. On his way, when he reached the place of the rising sun, he saw it rising over a people for whom we had not created any shelter from the heat of the sun. This is the real story. I am aware of his real story. There he found a community that did not understand him at all. They said, O Zulkarnain, Ya'juj and Ma'juj are causing turmoil in the world. Shall we give it to you on the condition that you build a wall between us and them? He said, the power that my Lord has given me is excellent. So help me with labor, I will build a strong wall between you and them. Bring me the iron bars. Then when the space between was filled and the iron pile was equal to 2 mountains, he said, you keep panting. When it was heated by the fire he said, you bring molten copper, I pour it on him. Then Ya'juj and Ma'juj could not cross it and could not penetrate it. Zulkarnain said, this is the grace of my Lord. When the promise of my Lord is fulfilled, he will crush it, and the promise of my Lord is true. Surah Qaf, verses 83-98. Who is Zulkarnain and what is his story? Zulkarnain was an honest and fair king. He conquered the west and the east. He established the reign of justice in these countries. He was gifted by Allah Ta'ala with all kinds of equipment to achieve his goals. He had reached the 3 ends of the earth in triumph. For example, first to the western extremity, that is the land of the setting sun, then to the eastern extremity, that is the land of the rising sun, and in the north to the foot of the mountains. There are many sayings and strong disagreements about the reason for naming Zulkarnain. Some say he had 2 tufts of hair on his head. Hence, he is called Zulkarnain, meaning the one with 2 bunches. Others say that he was given the title of Zulkarnain because he conquered the western and eastern countries. Surprisingly, more than one person has gained fame in the world by the name of Zulkarnain. And it is also surprising that the title of Sikandar Alexander is also associated with Zulkarnain of Pratyug. Who is Zulkarnain described in the Quran? He was in which era or era? Scholars have different opinions about this. According to Ibn Qasir, the rule of Zulkarnain was the rule of Hazrat Ibrahim, a.s. 2,000 years ago. Ibn Qasir narrated in his book Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya that when Zulkarnain arrived in Mecca for high on foot, Hazrat Ibrahim, a.s., came out of Mecca and greeted him. He prayed for him and gave some advice. It is also narrated that Zulkarnain performed Tawaf and Qurbani with Ibrahim, a.s. Asirat also provided all the necessary things for a statesman to establish justice, peace and order and conquer the country. There is a tradition that 4 emperors who established the ruling power in the whole world have passed away. 2 of them were believers and 2 were disbelievers. The 2 believers are Hazrat Sulayman and Sikandar Zulkarnain, and the 2 unbelievers are Nimrud and Bakht Nasr. First of all, Zulkarnain started the expedition to the western end of the world, that is the land of sunset, the last limit of the township. He reached the limit of the western end beyond which there was no more habitation. There he saw the sun sinking into a black water. In other words, he saw him drowning in the sea, because the sea water is black in places. In fact, when standing on the bank of the sun, it seems that the sun is sinking into the water. There he saw people who were disbelievers. Then Allah said, O Zulkarnain, if you wish, you can punish them first for their disbelief, or if you wish, you can be kind or gentle. In other words, you can command them to believe and enter Islam through Islamic invitation, tibla and advice. Then reward those who obey and punish those who disobey. Zulkarnain said in reply, I will first try to bring them to the path of Tawheed through advice. After that I will punish those who remain steadfast in disbelief. On the contrary, I will reward those who believe and do good deeds. If we review verse 86 of Surah Qaf, it can be understood that Allah Ta'ala himself addressed Zulkarnain and gave him this power. Then Sikandar Zulkarnain, after conquering the western countries, started another expedition to the eastern part of the world, that is the land of the sunrise, with the aim of conquering the eastern countries. When he reached the place of the rising sun, that is the end of the inhabited earth, he saw the sun rising over the dwellings of a people for whom Allah had not placed any covering from the sun. That is, that nation did not know how to build houses. They lived under the open sky. But Dhul-Qarnayn treated this community the same way he treated the people of the West, but he did not personify it. After conquering the West and the East, his third destination was the North, because the northern part of the world is more populated. When he finally reached the place between the two mountains, he found a tribe near them. This nation hardly understood the speech. That is, they did not understand the speech of other languages at all, being native speakers of their own language. On the other hand, being wild and unintelligent, did not even attempt to understand the language. They said, "O Dhul-Qarnayn, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj are causing great unrest in the region. They have been carrying out devastating barbaric attacks on the Northeast Asian countries." Now the question is, who are these Ya'juj Ma'juj? From the clear description of the Quran and Hadith, it is proved without doubt that Ya'juj Ma'juj, like other masters of the human race, are the children of Noah. As most Hadith scholars and historians have identified them as descendants of Yafs ibn Nuh. But Ya'juj Ma'juj is only the name of those who are barbaric, uncivilized and bloodthirsty. Ya'juj Ma'juj numbers many times more than the entire population of the world, at least a difference of 10. There are 2 hills at the entrance to the settlement that Ya'juj Ma'juj attacked. These were obstacles in the way of Ya'juj Ma'juj. But coming through the pass between the two, they attacked. The people of the said village requested Dhul-Qarnayn to build a big wall to close the pass between the two mountains. If necessary, they offered Dhul-Qarnayn to collect the money. In response, Dhul-Qarnayn said, "The wealth that my Lord has given me is abundant. Therefore, you help me only by physical force. I will build a strong wall between you and Ya'juj Ma'juj, so that they cannot enter the area." When at last the space between the two peaks had been leveled with layers of iron, Dhul-Qarnayn ordered that you continue to tap it. When they made it red like fire, he said, "Bring me the burning copper, and I will pour it into it." Thus he closed the pass of the two mountains with a great iron wall. As a result, the people of this area became safe from the looting of Ya'juj Ma'juj. This iron wall was such that it was very difficult for them to pass over it or tunnel through it. At the time of the Prophet, there was a small hole in that wall. The Ya'juj Ma'juj extended out daily. But the next day it miraculously thickened again. Rasul said, "The Ya'juj Ma'juj are digging the wall of Dhul-Qarnayn every day." At one point they reached so close to the edge of the iron wall that the light on the other side began to be seen. But they went back saying that the rest will be dug tomorrow, but Allah Ta'ala restored the wall to a strong state. But on the day when Allah wills to free them, at the time of doomsday, after digging and scrubbing, they will say, "God willing, tomorrow I will dig the remaining part and move to the other side." Actually, on that day, this iron will not be thick anymore. As a result, the wall will be broken and everyone will come out the next day. Despite being a human race, they are much stronger and outnumbered than normal humans. Jesus will take refuge in Mount Tur with his distinguished companions. Ya'juj Ma'juj will all die an unusual death. From the story of Ya'juj Ma'juj and Dhul-Qarnayn, the questioners are taught that you have become puffed up with pride and arrogance after having gained little in the world. However, Dhul-Qarnayn never forgot his real position despite being such a great ruler, conqueror and possessing so many resources, and always bowed before Allah. You think of your small houses and gardens as eternal and inexhaustible. But Dhul-Qarnayn built the most fortified wall in the world and thought that the real trust is in Allah, not this wall. As long as Allah wills, this wall will continue to resist the enemies. And when His will is different, cracks and holes will appear in this wall. That is, to we and the hereafter are undoubtedly true. As such, the people of the world will correct themselves. If you don't do that, your life will be destroyed and all your efforts will be in vain. The end.